Hello and welcome to Relatable Judaism Podcast at Aishlit, Los Angeles. This is Rabbi Jack Malul. Wherever you are, wherever you're going, doing, driving, there is nothing better than listening to something meaningful that Judaism has to offer that is relatable and will leave us lit on life. The topic for today will be about exclusive dating, different backgrounds, and talking about marriage.
Okay, who's ready for dating? What's wrong with you? Okay, so we don't have that much time, but I believe that in 2 more classes we can finish everything and almost all of the questions that are very common when it comes to dating. Are you ready?
Yes.
How ready are you? From 1 to 10?
10.
It's not enough. Okay, so I don't have a pen with me, but these are the topics we may talk about tonight, okay? Exclusive dating. Okay? Are you ready? What is exclusive dating?
Dating one person.
Yes! Not very common nowadays, is it? The next thing is dating and religious backgrounds. Okay? So what do you do if one person's a bit more religious than the other and you're dating that person? Okay? That's a very big question. How do you deal with differences? We're all different in some ways when you date. There's no 2 people that are exactly the same. It doesn't exist. We're so cute together. It doesn't work. I'll tell you why. Because if they are very sweet together, a perfect couple is an imperfect couple. Doesn't make sense. A perfect child is a silent child that sits in the corner and does nothing. That's an imperfect child. Get that in your head. There's no such thing as a perfect person. You can get someone that might be perfect for you, and it comes with work and effort, and we spoke a lot about that, and we're going to speak about that more. Okay, so that's dating and religious backgrounds. The fear of marriage, why is it so common? It's not all about the money. Talking about money, we're going to be speaking about that and how to bring that up and how to do it in a healthy way. How long does it take to know a date? You're dating someone, how long do you really need to get to know this person? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? No, Rabbi, I needed 10 years and then we broke up. Really? Okay, so that's another thing that you need to think about. How long? How to fight like a real mensch. Have you ever had a good fight? How to have a real good fight with your date like a real mensch. Okay, I'm going to give you 15 ways or 15 rules that you need to know before you have a fight. Okay, 15 things that you should think of before you have a fight. Will you fight? Yes. The question is how. Okay, and then how to have meaningful discussions on a date in a way that will bring it to the next level. What is the wrong way of dating? We spoke about this till now. It's dating to
Date.
Dating to date is the wrong way of dating. What's the right way of dating? Dating for marriage. We spoke about that, and it's really crucial to making things work. You can't just date to date. Dating to date is not the goal. There were 2 rules that we've been saying till now when it comes to dating. Rule number 1 is you don't date to date, just like you don't have money to hang it on the wall. No one takes cash and hangs it on the wall. You take money, you spend it. Okay, it's made for something else. It's a tool to get you to somewhere else. The same with dating. If all you do is date to date to date to date, then it might come a bit sour after a while. It won't be so sweet. Okay, and eventually you're going to say to yourself, okay, what's the next? I know this person, but I don't feel it. Well, you don't feel it because you've done every feeling that you could have done before. So like, what else can you try and feel? There's nothing more. Right? So the real way is to understand and to have the right mindset that I'm dating to actually eventually move to a higher level, which is marriage. We are humans and we strive for something much greater than just 2 people coming together. Humans means that we have a soul. I'm not just an animal. I have a soul, and I'm looking to see in another person something that can actually take me to a whole new level. If I really love you, I would want that bond to be on its highest level. I want to take it to a whole new level. And that should be the dream and the ideal of every basic and good, decent human being. Okay, so we are going to go through some of these. This is basically the end. After that, it's talking about marriage, but that's a different story. If you want me to talk about marriage, you can come to me after and we'll talk about the actual process of marriage in Judaism. Maybe on a trip we'll do that. Yes. Me and Shira will talk about our experience and in general what the Jewish marriage actually entails. But at least getting towards there is the aim of this class. Okay, so this is, by the way, not a call to say to you right now, get married today. Right? This is not the idea, okay? So don't freak out. The rabbis talk about marriage every time. No, but the idea is we as human beings need to understand what is our purpose, what is our goal? How long am I in this world for? What do I want to do in the time that I have? Do I want to utilize my time in the best way possible? These are questions I need to ask myself. And it's a lot to do with how I date and what my mindset is. Okay, so here, take some papers. We're going to go through some questions. And we have Dan Spouter over here. Hey, Dan. Who's willing to start off the first discussion, which is to do with exclusive dating. Okay? It's on the first side of the paper. Take and pass. I'm sorry, my pages. Joe, can you pass it to the rabbi?
That means you're getting serious.
Jenna, you can share the paper with Jen.
Okay, do you want to just go straight into the discussion? Go for it. This side. Tell them it's on this side. I didn't put the numbers, but never mind. Exclusive dating. Okay?
I should go through all of them?
Yeah, just read them out. Shh. Look at the crowd as well. Don't just read. Shh. Dan's going to lead the way for the first question. We've been discussing this before the class. One second.
I'm up here is because we're going to do a group discussion. I don't know if Rabbi has all of the context to get out of you guys what
I just have something in here.
out of you.
Come forward.
Basically, we're going to go through these questions, come up with our answers, and figure out what we think as a group the answers are, and then the Rabbi is going to come back up and shed some light. So first off, what is the difference between saying I'm dating someone, I'm seeing someone, and I'm seeing some people? It's on the side that says, what is the difference between saying? Does anyone have an answer?
Yeah. How serious you?
Future rabbi.
I think saying that you're dating someone is like saying that you are exclusively with someone, that you're, building a relationship with them. Versus saying I'm seeing someone is like casual, we go on dates sometimes. And then I'm seeing some people is just like somebody who is just, swiping right all day and just trying to meet as many people that they come.
Okay, so wait, before he carries on, if you don't mind me jumping in.
No, go for it.
So we're going to write this down. We'll call it dating, okay? Sorry about my writing. Seeing someone and people, okay? So which one would you say is more serious?
Dating.
Okay, dating. So it goes in that order?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, so basically number 3 guy is the least serious, would you say?
Well, yeah. Guy or girl.
Do you think girl? Yeah, guy or girl. Do you think it's less serious because of what?
Well, I think it's less serious because one, you're not choosing to. If you're not exclusive, then you're not actually focused on building a serious relationship with somebody. You're just kind of like, quote unquote, playing the field. Maybe like just, I don't really care about actually the prospect of a future with any of these people. I just want to have as much fun with as many people as possible, in a physical sense, maybe.
Response.
All right. If we can replace serious with committed, then I could agree with that. Because I feel like you could be serious about meeting the right person, but you're dating, but you're not committed to one person. Whereas when you're dating someone, then you're committed. So you can be serious about it, taking it seriously. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can have someone who seems more serious but less committed, or the other way around.
So I think there's a little bit of subtext also, where like, if you say I'm seeing someone, you're telegraphing to the people around you that even if I have these, like I'm still looking for something else, or I'm looking for a better thing. I'm looking for more than what I have already.
I think kind of to go off of that, seeing someone to me seems like I'm like seeing one person, but if something better comes along, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's a transient state.
Do you think that's a good way of doing things?
No.
Maybe.
So go, wait, Dan has a thought, go for it.
No, I haven't thought yet.
Oh,
I
not
just
yet.
think we should get to that like after the rest, because like that's the bigger point. Right?
Okay, go.
But I think this all comes to like people being afraid of a better option coming. So like people, I feel like have commitment issues because this person's great, but what if the next person I date is great plus one? So like seeing someone is waiting for great plus one to come, but like the key thing about something that's greater or stronger or better is that there will always be something that is greater, stronger, and better than whatever it is right now. So.
Good point. Monica.
Okay, I could think that like seeing someone though also is you really are just like trying to get to know one person and you're not sure. It's not necessarily that you are looking for someone better, but it just takes time to get to know someone sort of a thing. So it kind of depends on what you make of it.
Yeah, it's early on.
Yeah, like not exclusive yet.
Right, not exclusive yet. Okay, any other thoughts on that? All right, so this is where it gets tricky, okay? Is it ever okay to see other people while dating, which is how British people say while dating? At what point should you decide to become an exclusive date, right? So like, the thing to add here, I think, is like so like there's a line of when you should stop seeing other people, right? Is it when you've discussed that you're exclusive? Do you necessarily have to discuss that you're exclusive? And like that's the part that I think is interesting to explore is like, you know, maybe you guys have been on 6 dates, right? Like you're both really into it. Obviously, you're having a good time, and one person might think like it's unspoken that obviously you're not seeing other people anymore, but the other person could be like, well, we didn't establish that we're exclusive, so we just keep dating. So the answer I want to pose to the group is, what do you do in that scenario? Like, how do you know when it's time to stop seeing other people while you're dating one person, right? And neither of you know if the other is dating multiple people at the same time, right? So how do you manage like, well, I don't know if I should reject this other date offer, right? When I don't know if this other person is seeing other people, and just looking for thoughts on how you guys would manage that and what you think is morally right.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I feel like when it comes to the transition from dating to girlfriend, boyfriend, that's when that conversation comes up. That's when like, you know, the seas like kind of like leveled, and you both understand, okay, you're mine, I'm yours, and we're gonna figure this out, see if we're meant for each other, like for long term. I feel like that's kind of the transition period of when that's kind of discussed. After however many dates it is. But.
So you think up to that point, everyone's dating in free-for-all Wild West?
I think people should go into dating a person with their full, you know, focus on that person, and when the next person wants to date them, you put them on the back burner and schedule that after you're completed dating this person, whether they become your girlfriend or not. As in,
is a back burner good?
No, as in you tell them I'm seeing someone right now.
But what if it's been like 2 dates and you literally have no idea if you're legitimately interested in that first person, right? And then someone else comes along that you get along with much better, you think they might be a really good fit. Do you, just because you started dating the first person first?
First of all, I have no idea what to do in that situation, thankfully.
Right.
I don't have to worry about that right now. But I think after I feel like after I don't think that happens that often that after 1 or 2 dates the next person comes after you to date you. Like how often is it that they come back to back?
Yeah.
I think communication is a big key. I mean, it's
kind of hard, especially like when you're like it depends because like of course like you're at the moment where you're just like getting to like you're meeting people so that you can see if it's something potentially serious, but when you feel like there's maybe a strong hold or something, you want to communicate that and just express where you're at, and maybe I think it's a mutual thing for the other person to do that as well. I don't know how often that does happen, but I think that's the best way to go about things generally. And then
I think in an ideal world, you're right? In the real world, it's a little bit, there's people play games, and it's like, well, do I want to bring this up yet? It's only been 4 dates, but I'm happy. I hope they're not seeing anyone else, right? But like at the same time, the communication that you're suggesting is likely not going to occur in reality, right?
Well, it's all relative.
If you bring it up, it will occur.
It's all relative. If to you, like 3 dates is 3 dates, or if to someone else 6 dates is 6 dates, right?
I don't really think the number matters. I think if you want to see other people, if you're thinking about that, then you're not truly committed to that person. And there also has to be a connection on both ends. I think sometimes we go into dating when it doesn't work out, we think like, what did I do? Just because you feel the connection doesn't mean that person always feels it too. And I think we forget about that sometimes.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
And I think that if like the other person doesn't feel the same way, then where's this relationship kind of going? You know what I mean? Like it's to the point where you're on a date, like you're going on a couple of dates, and like you really like them, so why would you see other people? But then if they're thinking about it too, and they're gonna like kind of like, hey, I don't know what I want yet, so I'm just gonna kind of like branch off and see what I'm doing. Then like, if you guys end up going out, then what kind of a relationship is that? So.
Only one of you knows that it's happening though.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with her also. Like, and then kind of there's like an art to communicating, and an art of dating and being super vulnerable, and expressing whatever you need to express, whether it's received the way you want or not. And like, you have to bring it up sometimes.
I just don't think that conversation needs to go on.
It doesn't need to?
Don't think it needs to go on.
It doesn't. Just like, I shouldn't be on the date and just be like, hey, like, just hope you're not seeing anyone else, because I'm going to have a good time.
This
is where the discussion gets interesting. Yes. That's what I wanted. All right, so who has a response to that? That'll make things exciting and filled with drama. Go.
Okay. So I think when you first start dating someone, and even many more religious communities might agree with this, that like it's okay to see different people on first dates or second dates together, like at the same time. But once you become very accustomed to one person, I feel like a natural, well-adjusted person will eventually just become exclusive. And then at some point, not necessarily like a conversation, we think that it's a time where someone sits someone down, looks them in the eye, and says, we're doing this. It could just be a more like a, like I don't want to say guys, but people who have problems like understanding people on like an emotional level need to feel more in tune with that. It could be more of an acknowledgement. Whereas a lot of people that have problems giving out their opinion need to be more like, they need to state what they feel, girls. But, I feel like it starts as two feelings. And then those two feelings end up having some kind of acknowledgement. But to be more explicitly stated would be better.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should be able to tell by the vibes and everything. And you shouldn't just say, like you said, you shouldn't even have the talk. I think it's,
You can have
I want him to learn,
Just
not just
necessarily need to be
Yeah.
Just be like, so what are you doing this weekend? And just like, I'm just hanging out with the girls. I'm just hanging out with the guys.
Right.
An acknowledgement that we're the only people that we hang out with aside from our like friends.
Yeah, it makes sense. But if it keeps going on and you're still paranoid, then it's probably not.
It doesn't necessarily be paranoia. It can also just be eventually like you want to have things a little more sturdy.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Because you want to have a good foundation for a long
You're doing it.
I think what you said about like, it is true. Guys and girls do think differently. It's like pretty obvious. I think there are a lot of ways in which we think like very much the same, but a lot of ways in which we think differently. And I think, at least for me, I'm the type of person that's like, put it out there so there is no room for miscommunication or room for assuming things. I'm the type that like if I feel a certain way, obviously not the first date, like it's a little like aggressive, but like, if you feel a certain way, just like say it. What's the worst that happens? They don't feel the same way, okay, move on. Or it's like, now you know. It's the type of thing where it's like you should put it out there because you never know what will happen.
Hit us, Ben.
Well, it's funny that you hear that because in France there's no notion of exclusivity. And
See how important it is? Do you see how important it is?
Like,
So you don't have to worry about the other side. You don't have to worry about the other side. Because if you get it, you'll see it straight through the other person. And you'll see he's not into it.
So basically how it works in France is that you're hanging out with one person that you like, you don't like. You will see one person, you're going on what you guys call dates, so hanging out. And then if you like this person, you think one person at a time. And then you figure out if you like him, if you don't like him, you talk about it. And then if you like him, you're exclusive. It's not to talk about being exclusive, you're exclusive. There's no like saying all the people.
So by default, you're exclusive.
By default. And if you don't like each other, you're like, okay, we can be a match, we don't like,
Nice.
have anything similar. So you're going to the next one. But there's no seeing people, dating people,
If you-
be in a relationship.
If
We're
you-
exclusive,
yeah.
we're not exclusive. Seeing like 20 people at the same time, like this is
If you say that I'm seeing someone just exclusive,
it means that you like
just one person.
Yeah.
And do you find that to be better than the way us crazy people do things?
It's different, but the thing is like I feel like here, as everyone mentioned, you always look for something else instead of looking at what you have in front of you. So I feel like you're always trying to reach out for the best. But you like always like you have someone incredible in front of you, but you don't appreciate this person because you feel like, oh, maybe someone better will come around. And then at the end of the day, you're just like waiting and wasting time. And you'll be like, well, maybe I missed out on a great person that could be a match, but I was always reaching out for the very best and the perfect best person, which is not existent.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Second time. Okay, fine. I don't need to speak now. Thank you, Pamela. Okay, so let me just go through one or two of these points. Really important. Okay? Shh. Pamela, you were extremely right, but in our culture, in American culture, not in the religious Orthodox culture, but in American culture, it is something that should be spoken out with. It's true that it has to be that if you're dating someone out of decency, you are only looking at that person. You don't take that person out and then you start thinking in the back of your brain, you wouldn't tell it to her face. Hey, there's someone better out there.
Think about it.
Right, that's crazy. So there's no question about it that that's not the correct way of working, but because the culture here thinks that way, it is needed to be clarified. I agree it's awkward, but it should be clarified. Because the culture that we're in is so into always thinking maybe something's better. And guess what? If you think someone's better out there, there will be other flaws. No one's 100%. There's no one that's 100%. In fact, when you decide that you want to get married to somebody, most likely you'll feel like there's 70% for me. I'm still 30% unsure. There's gonna be a point where you'll commit to getting married, but you will not have 100% certainty that she is the one. It doesn't exist because no one is perfect. But things move, and we'll discuss that as we go along. And what's really, really important, and I don't want to actually directly address this point, what's really important are these points, these tips that I wrote down here. Okay? Exclusive dating needs to be clarified. It must not be assumed. Ask yourself, and yourself, not them, ask yourself, what am I dating for? If I am really dating to know that I'm just trying to see someone fit for me for marriage, not just to date, then my whole mindset is going to be different. I'm going to look at that person and I'm going to say to myself, is she fit for me or not? And if she's not, then what's the point in continuing? Okay, so this is all about my question that I need to have in the back of my mind is, what am I dating for? If I'm dating to have fun, I could be seeing many people because the point is the fun. And I think that you should have fun when you date. But at the end of the day, it's not the goal. You have to question yourself, what is the goal? It's so crucial into making it work. There's another point I want to make out here, which is some people say, I'm seeing someone or I'm seeing people because they're afraid of what people think. Okay? So if they're with their family and they're thinking, I don't know if they're going to like this girl, right? So yeah, I'm seeing someone, right? It's like kind of a way of saying, I'm not really taking this seriously because I don't want you to know about her. And that's already a thought that needs to be questioned. Why am I doing this? So it's true, I'm dating, but maybe I'm just dating to date. And if I am, I could be seeing many people. And what's the danger of seeing more than one person or thinking maybe there's someone better out there for me? What is the biggest danger of doing that? Or what's the danger of back burner relationships? Does anyone know what a back burner relationship is? What's a back burner relationship? No?
Keep around for reasons.
There's someone, do you know a back burner? When you leave the gas on slightly so it's always ready to put it on again? There's someone in the back of my mind that's still lingering in a connection with me. So even though I'm meeting you, I've still got a back burner relationship that I've been dreaming of for the past 15 years, and it's still, there's a chance. There's still a chance hanging there. Okay, what's the danger of back burner relationships or even having multiple people on your mind whilst you're dating someone? What's the danger? What's the biggest problem of that?
You can't focus.
Focus. You can't connect.
You can be disappointed.
You're clouded. You can't.
You're clouded. It's confusing. It's confusing. It really is. So the number one or the conclusion should be like this. The more clarity I have when I date, the better. The less clarity I have, the more challenges I'm gonna have. What's lack of clarity? Thinking maybe there's someone out there. Thinking, oh, but I saw someone on Tinder who has a much better job profile and a much better look from the left side than the right side, or whatever it is, right? So I've got all these thoughts in my mind and it's not working. Okay, so that is a very important idea. You've got to have, the more focused you are, the more likely the dating will work in the right fashion. Okay? There was another thing that I wrote here. At the beginning of a date, you can't know if they really want you, but if you can know, and you should know if they want someone. Okay, remember, read that again. At the beginning of a date, you cannot know for sure if they want you, because you can't say, do you really want me? Right? You can't do that on the first date. It's weird. Hey, let's go for a coffee. You sit for a coffee. Do you want me? It's like, no. No! Okay?
Not anymore.
Right, yeah, not anymore. Okay, so you can't do that, but you have to know, and you can know, and this is extreme. From date one, you can know if that person really wants someone, or they just want to use someone, right? Do they really want somebody? That you can know from the beginning. Are they serious about dating someone? And I tell you this because it's so important, because some people can go through 5 years of dating, and they get the realization, oh, college was, the grad school was anyway much more important. So finally, we go through the 5 years, we were getting somewhere, and then medical school or something else school came into mind, right? Medical school, something else came into mind, so that came first, right? There's many situations where you put other things up first because you never really wanted that someone. You wanted other things first. You just wanted to have a good time. So these are ideas that you need to think about. Very important. Number one is to ask yourself, is this person really dating to see someone? Are they dating to date, or are they dating for a relationship? That is a serious and an important question. Okay, let's move on. We'll move on from that question. Dating and religious backgrounds. Should we go into that one? Should we move into soulmate? What time is it?
It's fine.
Start the party.
Okay, let's start the party. Hey, Erez! Okay, very important. Let's go into dating and religious backgrounds, and then we'll move on to soulmates. Okay, I have it somewhere. Wait a second. Oh, do you have a soulmate? Okay, we'll move on to that. Dating and religious backgrounds. Is it important to marry someone Jewish? I'm a rabbi. Is it important to marry someone Jewish? Yes. Yes. Why? Now, the answer I'm going to give you may not be something that you'd expect me to say. Why is it important to marry Jewish?
It's important, especially for guys. My mom told me this, because if you marry a female who's not Jewish and you have kids, you're not going to be Jewish as well.
But I'll tell you something. If a lady who's Jewish marries a non-Jewish guy, and they have kids, how Jewish do you think that kid will feel?
Not good.
What are the odds that that kid would marry a Jew?
50 or less. Yeah.
Much less. He'll be like, my mom didn't do it, so why should she expect any better from me?
Yes, but if you grow up by your kids in a Jewish community, and also if you're married with non-Jewish guy, they can marry a Jewish guy.
If let's say a girl's marrying a Jewish girl's marrying a non-Jewish guy, then
Yes,
then
the kids grow up in a Jewish community also, and
of course there's hope. There's always hope. Once a Jew is a Jew is a Jew. If the child's Jewish, there's hope that, of course, once the child comes to be, we'll do everything to. I'll run after them on campus. I'll be like, hey, you Jewish, come to the rabbi, Shabbat. No question about it. But before that actually happens, in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, it's better if his mom and his dad is Jewish, because that will just make things easier, as opposed to having that confusion. Okay?
yeah,
Make sense?
I grew up in a family where my dad is married with a non-Jewish girl.
Right.
And my sister, she has to do it like the conversion, yes. And now she's Jewish, and she grew up in a Jewish community with us. And
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you know what? Wouldn't it, we have to always ask ourselves, what is the ideal situation? The ideal situation in your situation was that what she did, right? 100%. But if I had a choice right from the beginning, my choice should be, how can I make it the easiest for my children in the future? And there are many, many people that didn't do what your sister did.
Yeah.
There are many people that said, I'm not Jewish, right? And they just left. So the chances are much less. And here's the point that I want to tell you. Here's the point I want to tell you why. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Okay, what ages do you normally see in a synagogue? What ages? Old?
Or extremely young.
Or extremely young, okay? Do you see 20-year-olds in there? Like, what's up, Rabbi? Let's take out that Torah! All right? Does that happen? Right? 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, are they hanging out in shuls? No. Some people? What are they selling there? Yeah? I don't know which shul you're going to. But really, it's true. Depends what, or honestly, if it's a very religious group, so then obviously they will be very involved, even at my age or younger. But I'm talking about outside of the Orthodox community. What ages are most likely to be in a synagogue? Older or younger? Very young, okay? Older mostly, yeah, all old folks. But you've also got some young people because the parents are like, hey, I need my kid to have a bar mitzvah. Right? You all, most of you, had a bar bat mitzvah and that was it. Right? So here's the question. If it's true that the least time, or the time that you're least involved with being Jewish is when you're in your 20s, because that's the least chance you'll see someone Jewish in a synagogue. In your 20s, 25, 30, maybe once you hit past the 30 mark, you'll start going back. Right? But if it's true in that age, that's when you're least involved in something Jewish, what would you say to marrying someone? Would you look for someone that's Jewish at that point? If you're not very involved yourself Jewishly? Would it make that much of a difference?
Yeah. Yes.
You think it would? You'd hope it would, but I honestly think it will make much less of a difference to me if I'm not really involved in a Jewish community. I'm not doing anything Jewish anyway. I'm not going to a synagogue. I'm not involved. I don't like the rabbis. I don't like that Torah stuff. Right? I don't like anything Jewish. The only reason why I'm not doing it is because my mom keeps telling me, just whatever you do, marry a Jew. And my grandma tells me the same thing. So that's the only reason why I'm actually doing this guilt thing. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it, right? That's the age. In the 20s, 25, you're not involved Jewishly, so why would I care? And that's really what's happening. But I'll tell you something which is crazy, and this has nothing to do with a religious issue. Somebody marries someone from another faith, and it could be any faith. What happens is, as soon as you have kids, what will you be thinking then? Just like all the other people when they have kids, they're thinking of their youth. And they're going to say to themselves, wait a second, I do want my kid to know some values. I want my kid to have some Jewish values. I don't want them just to go to a random school without any kind of Jewish education. There are real powerful values that we teach. I don't want my kid to sit like a carrot in front of TV and do nothing else besides for that, right? I want him to have some spiritual values. And you start rethinking of all of your youth when you were a kid. And at that point, when you have a child, if the mom is from a Christian faith and you're from a Jewish faith, what will happen?
Church.
Right. What will happen? Well, not necessarily church, but what would happen is you awaken, at that point, your Judaism wakens up. And it always does as you get older. You start waking up Jewishly. And you're like, whoa, I think I should be involved with something Jewish. I remember that what I had. I want that in my kid. So you pull in a different direction as you get older. And she pulls in a different direction. Not a good idea for marriage. Because you're both going to get pulled in the wrong directions.
What if they convert? Like, I mean, there's still a big problem with that.
It's a very, very, very big what if. It's a big what if. Because I'm asking, what are the chances? What are the chances that someone really will? And remember,
They are, though.
what?
They're like, yeah, I'll convert.
Even so, maybe they're converting for you. Did you know that most Jews are not fit for conversion? If, let's say, most Jews in this room would, let's say, not be Jewish, and they'd say, you know, today I want to convert to Judaism. You will not be able to do it because are you keeping Shabbat? Are you doing any of the Jewish values? Are you keeping kosher fully? It takes a lot to actually convert to Judaism. Right. So if they tell you, hey, I'll convert for you, it's very cute. Right? It sounds really sweet. I mean, that's a lot for me. You know, you'll convert for me, then you take on all that Jewish stuff for me? Wow, that means you must love me. But at the end of the day, it's for me, it's not really for the right reasons. And everyone in this room always says, do things for the right reasons. Anyone here say that we shouldn't be real? Anyone says here that we should be fake? Anyone?
That's my motto.
Oh, yeah, it's your motto. Do we believe that we should be as real and not think about other people and do things for the real reasons? Does anyone believe that? Mm-hmm. Well, the question should be asked is, if she says she's going to, or he says, I'm going to convert for you, is it really for Judaism or is it for you? If it's for you and it's not for Judaism, that can make even more problems. Oh, you see what I did for you after 2 years of marriage? Look what I did for you. I converted, and right? Because life never goes easy. When there's an argument, it'll be like, oh, that Judaism was ridiculous. Why did I do it? Right? So you have to understand, is it really for the legit reasons? And that's why Judaism will be always questioning a conversion for the sake of marriage.
Well,
Yes, Jonathan.
Sorry, Robert. My question is a little bit deeper than that. I mean, let's just say you do it for the right reasons. The person does.
100% Jewish.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean,
By the way, if anyone converts and they really convert, not to bagels, not to eating bagels or not, you don't need a conversion to say, hey, I eat bagels every Sunday, or I eat cholent once a week, or gefilte fish. Right? You don't need a conversion to say I eat gefilte fish on a Friday. I converted because I eat cholent every week on a Saturday. That doesn't need a conversion. Conversions need to be transformative. Okay?
I guess my only point to that is, let's just say they do convert for the right reasons.
Yeah.
What's the deeper meaning as to why you shouldn't? I mean, I get what you're saying about, you know, they should be doing this for the right reasons and all that, but what's the deeper meaning?
Nothing. If they do really convert, they do really convert. But most likely, that doesn't happen. In fact, most likely, after the wedding happens, that is the key reason of the argument. Look what I did for you, because no marriage goes easy. You have to know, there's no way in a million years that any marriage goes easy. We said that right from the beginning. The point of marriage is to face friction, and through it you grow. So you will face friction. There's no question about it. Yeah, go on, what were you saying?
Okay, so like when you marry someone, like even if they do convert for that right reason, like they're still their whole family.
Yeah.
So like, are you gonna go over to like grandma and grandpa's house for Christmas? You know, it's like the whole family too. So like as much as like you say like raising your kids in like a Jewish community, they're still family. So you're not gonna just like disconnect from the family. Yeah.
There are many challenges. Don't get me wrong, if it does happen, great, I would love a conversion to happen, but it has to be legit, most likely. You know? Okay.
My family knows a few relationships where a Persian Jewish guy marries like a Muslim girl, and then 2 years into having kids, the wife takes the kids and leaves and says, I'm going to take my kids to Muslim school, they're like their equivalent, and just leaves. And she gets the kids and gets half the stuff. So you always run into that risk.
Only half? I thought she'd get more.
Well, I mean the kids, right? And half his stuff. So that's 75.
That's everything for me. Yeah, kids are everything. Okay. But it's definitely interesting. Okay, but here's the point. It's true that Judaism should be in par, meaning the values that you have should be the same with her. But what happens if you date someone with a completely different Jewish background to you? Oh, that's a question. What happens if he comes from a less observant family and she actually came from an observant family? She took a step down a bit for a while. And now they're on the same place, but they have very different experiences. What do you do? I think we kind of touched on this. Go on, what do you want to say?
The last time.
Some time back, but
so
say
I
what
think
you
it also has to do with the last thing you said, and like the same thought that comes to my mind, and we did mention this before, is that if you're not growing together, then you're growing apart.
Exactly. Which direction are you both going? It's true, you can have one person over here and one person right over here, but you know what? There's some people that are going in this direction, and there's some people that are always going in that direction. Okay? If that's happening, you are not fit for each other, unless you see that there's a change. Okay? But if you have one person is moving in that direction, and the other person's over here, and they're moving in that direction, that can work. Okay? Because no two people will be in the same position. One person might do Shabbat, the other person might not. The other person might not do any kosher, but the question is, what is their positivity? In which direction are they going, and in which direction are you going? And I hope that you're both going upwards, because I promote Judaism. Right? So, what's so funny? It's obvious. Right? So, but not only that, not only I hope you're both going up, but you have to go up because you have to have the same goal. That's another point that's really important. If you don't have the same goal, one guy could be going up, yay, right? But it's in musical talent, right? And it's his music and his music and his music, which doesn't really say anything besides for the fact that it's music, which is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But it's doesn't necessarily make you a better person. Okay? So he could be going up in that direction and she could be going up in that direction. Two different paths, right? There's actually hipster style Judaism, and which is like what Eugene, Oregon was like, but that's not hipster. In Safat style, you know, they've got the guitar and they're like Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so you've got that type of. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so you've got the hipster where he's got the long hair, he's got a huge kippah, and it's like, right? He's not had a shower for a few weeks, so that's the hipster Jewish guy. Okay, great guy. Very spiritual. He's all in he's high up there, right? Great guy. Yeah, there's a song. Lord, get me high, get me high, get me high. Do you know that song? And then it goes higher, higher, higher and higher. It goes higher, higher and higher. And this is the song. It's just like higher, 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 and the guy's hanging out there in. I don't know how higher you can get. You can't get any higher than this. Safat is like the north of Israel. There's nothing higher than that. And they say it's the highest place in the world. You can't get higher than that. So anyway, so you've got the hipster Jew who's going in one direction, and you have. You have a Sephardic Jew who's going in a different direction. You know, there's all different directions that people can go in Judaism too. So you have to always ask yourself, what's the direction in your spiritual path as well? What kind of goal are you going? So there's two things that you have to see. Are you both going in the same direction? Same direction. Okay? And same goal. You don't have to see if you are the same, or you're as similar in everything. Just what direction are you going and what goal are you going in? If it's both towards the same direction and the same goal, you can get married. Not today, not tomorrow, but you can consider it. Okay, so that's really the difference. Any questions and thoughts and arguments? Any thoughts about the hipster rabbi that's hanging out, getting higher and higher?
Can you illustrate again?
What? Yes.
It's not exactly about this, but I wrote some notes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about like the people that, I don't know, like the people that, let's say like their priority is to go to school, like to go to grad school.
Okay.
So are they supposed to miss out on intimacy until after they go to grad school until they find someone they love? What are they supposed to do in the meantime until then? Or somebody who...
It's a good question.
Like, the idea of like settling almost. Like, if like we were saying like, oh, we want to see someone who's better than the last person, we always want to find something better, but what if we've seen something in the past that we think is very good, and so we're seeking that again?
So you've got a number of questions. One is...
But it's all under the umbrella of what does a person do in the meantime, maybe?
There's no meantime, it's life. I mean, if you're always thinking like, when my job, and that, I dated someone that was like that. He was always, when my job settles down, then I'll be able to put time into this. When this, then when that. What if that day doesn't come? So I feel like if you're always thinking about that, that's not the kind of person I'd want to be with anyways, because you should be in the moment and present with that person.
So if somebody's going away for grad school, for example.
Yeah, and if I'm not their priority, that's okay, but...
Don't put it...
That's a person not supposed to date.
Yes, it's not, don't use it on the expense of someone else. Hey honey, aren't we so made for each other? Right, you're walking down the beach, promenade.
There's no problem with that, because in my mind, I wanted both of those things. You have to want it, right? If that person isn't looking for it, they're going to be more focused on grad school, and naturally they're not going to put that effort into the relationship.
Wow. Very good.
Woo! Yeah! But I really believe that the question is, if your mindset is, and there's no way in a million years I'm even going to consider this person for sure. And plus, when I go far away, and I'm going to be in another country, for sure, if I find another girl there, I mean, yeah. Right? So if that's my mindset, you are using that girl. And she's thinking that you're really being serious, that's unfair. So even though intimacy is important, it stands for into me, you see. Right? So... But even though intimacy is important, we have to... Sorry. It's true that intimacy is important, but at the end of the day, I care for your feelings, but care for someone else's feelings more. Our society really cares for... I'm into intimacy right now, so yeah, but it's true. But care about somebody else more than you care about yourself. That's real compassion. Meaning you should care about yourself. Part of caring about yourself is considering doing something real. Because at the end of the day, what happens is, if it's not like that, it's like a year here, and then it's another year, and then another year, and then 35 years old. And I'm like, I'm desperate I need to get married, Rabbi. Right? So yeah, go on. Yes?
Oh, okay. Off of that then, would you discourage long distance?
No, I wouldn't. If you're really...
making each other priority.
It's true. That's the question. See, that's the question. Are you really committed, or are you not? Are you dating to date, or is this real? If it's real, it's fine. You can be in another place. You call up once a week. You at least. What? No, wait a second. It's at least once or twice a week. No. At least once a week. I think if it's too much, it can get emotionally obsessive, and it's emotionally intimate, and it can be very unhealthy too. It can actually cause you to fall apart. It's wasteful. How much can you talk about this? Say, hey, honey, I love you. What are you doing right now? What are you doing? So what are you breathing? You breathe? Oh my gosh, what are you eating? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Yes.
How often would you date if you were living in the same city? Once a week?
It depends what you're dating for.
Okay, well,
there's only one person, I guess.
But if you're dating for marriage both ways,
then you can date often. At least you can date 3 times a week. If it's really serious, you date 3 times a week. Yes.
I want to say that this is like the first time ever that we've spoken to our significant other, our spouse, so much ever. Because in most of history, you would have 2 completely different jobs starting at sunrise to sunset. You guys might see each other in the middle of the day and then maybe at the end of the day for a little bit and then go to bed.
Right.
It's the first time that I can communicate with someone just passively for 5 years long. And I feel like that...
If you're live on Facebook, you'll be like, hey.
And it takes away from when you actually see the person. If you do message each other every single day, or stayed so close to each other. I've had issues with friends.
It's problematic.
How often when you actually do get into the same room as the person, you're just both on your phones talking to other people?
That's shitty.
Hey, can you pass me the salt? Okay, have you heard that?
Right.
You're like two couples on the same table.
Yeah.
They're both on the phone. They're like, honey, can you pass the salt from the other side?
But also depends. Memes
Okay.
are a real form of communication.
What?
I think that memes are a real form of communication.
What's a meme? Sorry, my English.
Like little clips,
Picture.
like a picture.
Oh, emojis? Emojis?
It's like a picture with like a text on it.
A what?
It's like a picture but with a text on it. Like
You have to show me what a meme is. I'm sorry. I'm not a kosher one. Oh, a GIF image, like a GIF image.
not a GIF, it's different. I think it's like
I love the GIFs. I'm like, when's this ending? When is this GIF ending?
Like, you know what minions are?
No.
Like from Despicable Me?
No, I heard about this. I don't know. Okay, afterwards. Don't embarrass me. Okay, let's carry on. Yes.
So, when you are in a relationship, where do you think the line
Or the
is
newspaper.
drawn with the other sex? Like, okay, obviously cheating is one thing, but other things like liking a profile picture of the other sex, or like hanging out as friends, where do you think the line could be drawn with that?
So you have to know, like, in your community, I don't know. You have to know in your community what is a statement and what is not a statement of love. What? What do you think?
What do I think about what's crossing the line?
Meaning, if you're, let's say, liking someone else's Facebook and she sees that, the word, is that not exclusive?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. That's about like trust and jealousy in the relationship, right? Like, if neither of you are jealous and you both trust each other, then it's fine, right? Because like, assuming there really aren't malicious intentions, but if there are malicious intentions and you're doing that in a public domain, then you're an idiot anyway, right? So I don't know.
Judaism has boundaries. Like, for instance, make yourself, forget about the other person, think about yourself. So in your own world, because if you're going to think, every time you come to this class, I wish every guy that's not here right now should be listening to this right now, right? So that it doesn't, you have to think of yourself. So in your own world, you need to say like this: don't put yourself in a situation which will cause or arouse suspicion. Even if he trusts me, even if he knows me, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I arouse suspicion. Judaism does that a lot. We do not hang out in the same house with one person alone. That's called yichud, which means to be alone in a house with another, with the other side. What?
It's called liability.
It's called liability. It's called yichud. That's actually a Jewish law. So if, let's say, it's just me here and a student came to meet Shira and Shira's not here yet, I will have to leave the door open as a sign, because I do not want to be alone with another girl in this house. It's just, even if I know that nothing's going to happen. Trust me, I know. But you've got to still always make those boundaries, even if you know. Even if he's 100 years old and she's 15. It doesn't make a difference. We make boundaries, okay? There's no being smarter than the boundaries that you can make. Okay, don't be more smart than the boundaries. That's a very important. Okay, that's another whole discussion. Don't put yourself in a situation which makes the questions. But in general, you got to know your society and your culture. What is called, if you send a MWAH message to somebody on Facebook, like, mwah, right? It's like, oh my gosh, really? So you're into that person now, right? Okay. You didn't expect that from me, so that's why you laughed. Okay, let's carry on. I think we should carry on. Should we carry on? Anyone want to go on? Should we go on?
Yeah.
Okay. The fear of marriage, should we talk about that? Or should we go straight to, do you have a soulmate?
How long does it take to know a date?
Soulmate? What was your question?
How long does it take to know a date?
Okay, we kind of spoke about it. It's a whole class.
Let's do a whole class on soulmate.
It's a whole class. Okay, soulmates is a whole class. Okay, let's do, how long does it take to know a date? Should we get into that?
6 months before.
Okay, we did kind of speak about that. Fear of marriage? Okay, let's get to fear of marriage. Will talking about marriage scare away a date? Yes. Jonathan says yes. You're going out with someone and you start talking about marriage.
If you're dating to date, yes. If you're dating for marriage, no.
Okay, and in our society, in the culture today, what does it mean when I start talking about marriage a lot? What would that mean to the other side? Desperate, right? What else? Would anyone? Any other thoughts?
You might feel the rushing.
Like there's a rush, not letting me think. There's someone who's pushing. Yeah.
That you're more serious about this than they are.
You're more serious than they are. Okay, so at what point should you start talking about that? Should we talk about marriage ever? Is it okay? I mean, it's just a discussion. Yes.
So like it depends on.
Not on the first date. Hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? Will you marry me? Yeah, go on.
I guess it depends on who you're going out with. Like, I think some people don't have like the social like capacity to understand these things. But if you really understand the person you're going out with, you respect their boundaries and you know like this is something you're gonna work on. And you could read their body language or like who they hang out with, how they talk. And so like you're gonna lead up to that eventually. It doesn't need to be on the first date.
Doesn't need to be the first date. So you're saying it's naturally going to happen.
I'm not saying it's naturally going to happen like just by itself.
If it's the right person.
If you're confident in yourself and like the scenario that you've set with this other person that you're going out with, it's gonna lead up to it because it's gonna work itself out. It's gonna flow to it.
Okay, it's going to flow into the direction of talking about marriage.
Yes, exactly.
If it's the right
because
candidate.
you can kind of tell the person that you're going out with if
Right.
they're kind of serious or not based on things that have led up to
that point.
date. Like where'd you meet him? Did you meet him at a club?
Right.
Like that kind of gives you an idea as to what you're getting yourself into.
What kind of direction this is going? I like
If
it.
you meet him at age, it's like okay, this, something's.
And if it's Aishlit.
If it's Aishlit.
Okay, so that is very important. What is the right age to get married? Anyone know? Is there a right age to get married? Any thoughts? Different for everyone?
You gotta have enough time to be fruitful and multiply.
Ooh.
While you still have time.
So 42. 42. Check. You can go and get checked. 42. I've got another 2 years, right? If it's for women. I'm just joking. I'm not being serious.
It's gotta be.
Should you wait till the last minute?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. No, I'm not. I know that I'm very into marriage. I agree. What? When you meet the right person.
It happens. When you're ready to
When
put
you
someone
feel
else
like.
before you sometimes and make sacrifices.
When you're willing to put someone else before you. When you're willing to make a sacrifice. So you're saying it depends on a certain level of maturity.
Yes.
Yes.
Or knowledge, right mindset.
Knowledge. What knowledge do you have to have?
Well, I mean,
Emotional intelligence.
yeah, and with that emotional, like
Stability.
the stability, like someone who's in that healthy mindset, like where then they can receive too. I guess it kind of comes to the whole intention of like caring, like for the other person, putting the other person first, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. Putting the other one first. Are you willing to put someone else first before you? You also said. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Marriage? No other thoughts? Okay. All I can tell you is this, a number of thoughts, okay? A number of thoughts. One is, if you get married at 40, by the time you have a kid, what's your age difference between you and your child? A lot. That's 40 years. Anyone here has got a dad who's more than 40 years older than them?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
40 years older than me.
Yeah? Do you feel he's super relatable or not so?
So when I was a kid, we always had like a great relationship, but I didn't know how close we get now that I'm older. Thankfully, I feel like I'm more of a mature kid, so we can relate on that. But like, again, being 15 and being stronger than everyone in your family put together, it kind of sucks because you want to do things with an older family.
You're like, Dad, let's go ice skating. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm too
barely walk. Okay. Yeah, any other thoughts? Yes.
I read somewhere that scientifically, if you make a child when you are younger, scientifically it will become prettier.
It will come what?
Prettier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Better looking.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like when you were younger.
I'd love to see that. If you could send me a...
So that's why you should make it when you're young.
Well,
is that why you're so beautiful? No, I love you, Sean. Yeah, go on, what are you saying?
So I met a scientist that was looking at sperm under a microscope. Interesting. And there was this guy who was very athletic, and she looked at his sperm, and they were moving really fast, and they were really healthy. And then she was looking at sperm of like people who don't exercise, and I think one guy was even religious. He was older, and his sperm were very slow and less healthy. So younger.
High five to that!
So be young and exercise. Exercise.
Woo! Okay, so.
One more. I wasn't talking about the rabbi. It's only one ice. That was anecdotal.
Oh my gosh, this is sperm. So, I don't know about the science, okay? But I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing, and that's really important. Everyone wants their kid to have the most amazing life. Agree?
Yes.
And we all say it. I do not want to grow up my kid the same way my parents raised me. I want them to be better. Everyone says the same thing. And we believe that we can do it better. It's not that my parents were terrible, evil, or whatever. But when they did this, that, and the other, I am going to do it better. That's what we all say. And we don't only say that. I want to have a beautiful home. I want him to have the most amazing bedroom. I want him to have the best life possible. I want him to have everything. But you can't do that if you're not relatable to your child. It could be you have all the money in the world, but you waited till you're 40 or 50, and you're very, very far in age and in time, and there's so many differences. You're just not like each other.
But then there are other experiences and wisdom that come with that.
That's true. I'm not saying that a 50-year-old or 40-year-old parent should say, okay, I'm too old for my kid, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to have a kid. I don't think that should happen, but just bear in mind the benefits of somebody who has a kid when they're younger. Okay, so if sometimes we think to ourselves, no, when I'm older, I'm going to have this and this and this for them, and they write a whole list of things that I want to be a great dad for. You know what? All the money in the world is not as valuable as time that you give your child. You can give your child everything, but time is above it all. If you go on a hike with your kid, you just take him out and you take him to fun places, it doesn't matter about the money. Some parents are so busy in their cars and in their work and in everything else, they have no time for their kids. And you know what happens to that kid? He gets grown up by who?
Nanny.
Some nanny. Right? Is that healthy? What kind of confidence does that give the child? I didn't really know my parents. What kind of confidence does it give the child in school? Bullying. How would he overcome all the challenge? Guaranteed, the biggest gift, insecurity, the biggest gift you can give your child is time. So stop thinking about all the money you want to give that child. It ain't going to help.
Who wouldn't
give it time?
I don't think it's nanny or love. Or nanny.
So what is it?
Money,
Sometimes, all I'm saying is some people think, and you can tell me what you think. Some people think, my way of showing love is through money. Okay? And that's a thought that many people have. My only true way of sharing my love to my child or giving love to my child is with money. And I think that it's not true. And we have to know it's not true. It's actually sometimes wrong. So busy with my money, I don't even talk to my child. Yeah, wait, you had some thoughts. Did you want to counter that thought?
Yeah. I lived in Israel, and both of my parents used to work, and they would not come until late, and we would have a nanny. And they told me the story, and then they switched. At some point, they were like, no, we want to spend more time with you, so my mom didn't work anymore. And, I told her, well, I wish you did, and I wish you had more money, because I was a kid, I didn't remember any of those things anyway, so, I don't know. But, yes, no, I get what you're saying, obviously, for them at least, they remember those memories, I don't, but...
But do you know what? You may not. Do you remember every bad word that someone told you growing up?
No.
Do you remember every good word that someone told you growing up?
No.
No, but I guarantee you that impacts you.
What would you rather?
And it impacts you with the way you show your confidence. It impacts you with the way you portray yourself. When you talk to someone, the way you talk to someone, if you have a certain self-confidence that was given to you from a young age, that is felt on the person in front of you.
That's true.
They will feel that love. They will feel that love that you got from your young age. There's no question. Yeah.
Okay.
And we can show you scientific facts about that.
I think that it's not as cut and dry, black and white as it seems to be.
Like I'm saying?
Yeah, because...
Why?
I mean, even for example, what if you have, you're the oldest sibling and, I'm 11 years older than my youngest sister. Does it mean that she's like...
Yeah, but you have a sister.
What's that?
You have a sister. I didn't say that you shouldn't, if a parent has one kid when they're 20, and then they have another one when they're 25, and then another one when they're 30, they should say, okay, that's it. I want my child to be close to me in relation. Let's stop. I don't think that. I think that at the end of the day, that child has, I'm the 7th kid in my family. There's 8 kids in my family. I'm the 7th, so the 2nd youngest. Okay, now my dad's an old guy, right, from Morocco, completely out of culture from England. Everyone's like, Simon. My dad's like, oh, what are you good? Right? Completely different culture. That is me and my dad. Different world. So I'm coming out of school and it's like, Simon. All of a sudden my dad's like, what are you? And I'm like, why am I in this country? It's cold. People are different. I look different. So I went through that experience where I was the 2nd youngest in my family. And I had a whole bunch of family members who were all older than me. But I had my brothers and my sisters and my family. It's true that my parents weren't relatable to me. And I don't think that if my parents would have stopped, I wouldn't exist, right? If they would have stopped at 6, which they could have reasonably done, I wouldn't exist.
I mean, that's just one point. I think that
it's true that I am not relatable to my dad. That's my point. But at the end of the day, I have brothers and sisters.
I think that there's still like...
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I still just don't think it's as black and white. Because
Black and white. Yeah.
But there are benefits and there are pros and cons of both situations of being an older
I'd love to know what the pro is of a parent waiting till they're 40 or 50 to have a first child, as opposed to having
For example, right now you're talking about we're talking about the currency and the value of time and giving time to your children. Right?
Okay.
Right now, I'm very, very busy with my career, and I'm trying to work to a point where I have more independence in my career, and I will have more time. So if I had a kid right now, I wouldn't be able to give them the time that they need or I should be giving a kid. But, and I'm not saying that, I'm not speaking what my timeline is because who knows, but I think 10 years from now, I'm going to be more established in my career. I'm going to be more independent and I'm going to be able to leave the office earlier. I'm going to be able to have the flexibility to go to their sports games or whatever.
Great. Until the age of 10, let's say they hit 10. Wait, they hit 10, 15. And what age would you be?
10 years from, or 25 years from now?
25 years. So it's 10 years from now that you get married. Add. Right, the wedding. What about the grandkids? Do you think you'll get to meet them? You never know.
I mean, but again, that speaks to the the sibling point. Does that mean that
it's all. I'm talking about a package. I'm talking about a package.
I just don't think it's as clear cut.
It's very warm in here.
I don't want to.
You can. Rabbi, take me down. I think it's important that we speak it out. It's really important.
I think it's more about where you are in your life rather than a specific age, because it's about what you can bring to the table. Just like, and in your relationship, you ask what is a good age to get married? For someone, it might be 18 years old, but for someone else, it might be 28 years old.
I agree.
And so
I agree.
It's the exact same kind of scenario. It's the exact same like situation or thought process.
It definitely depends on level of maturity, but
and not just level of maturity, but also where you are in life.
Okay, but I can just tell you that there's many people like yourself that did what you did, and they didn't get that moment of stability. It just went busier to busier to busier. I know somebody who is a great lawyer, got such a great lawyer that there's every hour that he has is over $1,000, right? And he is busy, super busy. Just to get a meeting with him, it was insane, the amount of effort and time that our organization had to get a meeting with this one man. So as time went on, he actually got busier. I'm not judging, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying that if you don't find the time now, how do you know you will find the time?
Like, I'm going to have a kid now because I know I might get busy. Again, if it's a priority, you're going to make it a priority.
Right.
Make it priority.
That's kind of with anything in life.
Right, that's a priority. That's exactly right. I think it's a priority whenever you make it a priority. And
so when will you make it a priority?
One thing I'm saying is that when you are more established, if you're the boss, you get to say, okay.
You have 25 employees.
But you get to say what your priorities are more. You do.
But you have 10. Do you know how much money you're dealing with in every year?
No, I understand. You have more responsibility also.
Not just a lot. It's like 25 people.
You also have more flexibility with what you do. Like, and I'm just speaking from my experience, like looking at the.
Do you know what the Talmud says? Do you know what the Talmud says? Ma ben nechasim, ma ben da'aga. Wait. I'm sorry. This is very important. I want this to be understood. The more you have, the more worries you'll have.
Yes.
Do you know that?
So the more kids you have, sorry, younger, the more boys you're gonna have.
Wait till later. No, but if you're gonna want it at some point. So you're gonna want it at some point. So you're gonna wait till 70, till all those worries. 70, running around with a diaper. I mean, those questions will have to. If that's your purpose,
That means until they were 39 or 40. I mean, here they thought they couldn't have kids.
I think that's a great thing that they had you. Like, it's great. Thank God. I mean, you're here.
Like, I'm very relatable to my mom. Like, my mom and I are very similar people and we're really close.
I think that's awesome. I think that's a great thing that you are finding that situation, that you and your mom is very close and very relatable. But I also believe that there's many situations. Well, that's another thing. Well, that's true. That's true.
Also, I feel like
Okay, there's many.
a very expensive city, so it takes a lot longer.
That's another reason.
To afford a good
Exactly. You hear that?
Your children more than what you had.
These are all the reasons, by the way, that people are not getting married today. These are all the reasons why people are holding on in dating and getting married. Listen to this. Why is marriage on a decline? Why are people not getting married as much? And these are all the points that you brought up. Everyone is transitioning. Isn't everyone moving to big cities like DC, New York, LA? All the young people. There's no time. Everyone's working and there's no time. Who can think of a real date right now? Anyone here has got enough time to think of heavy dating? No. Right? I mean, hopefully, but you know what? You have time? That's great. I thought you didn't have time.
You prioritize, like I'm here, right? Like you make priorities. Like I came late, but you figure out how to prioritize things, and if it's important to you,
you'll have kids. Now. Yeah. I mean, you are beautiful, Iris.
Well, my parents had me very young, so.
Wow.
So.
That's the line of the night.
What I'm saying though is, I don't believe in setting, like I'm speaking for myself, I don't believe in setting a timeline for myself, period, with respect to my personal life. Like, I go as it comes, and like I'm open-minded every step of the way.
Okay, so you're open-minded, so let me fill that mind.
I'm just thinking, wow.
He's open-minded, let me fill it
I
in.
didn't hear yet the idea of being open-minded. Because like you said, at age of 35 or whatever, you're going to find the person you want.
I have no.
You still need to be open-minded.
I have an open mind 100%, and it's a matter of like how I prioritize things. But I know that like getting married and having kids is important to me. It's going to be important to me 10 years from now. It's also important to me right now. And so I'm not going to like turn down an opportunity to have that if it comes in, if I come across it right now.
I'm personally saying, right now, I don't argue with you, I applaud and I'm so happy. But right now I'm talking about a situation where we are in, and it's the culture that we're in, which is really, everyone has, jobs don't last as long. People in young millennials today don't have long-lasting jobs like they used to. And everyone's in constant transition mode. You're moving from one job to the next. You're in big cities, there's a lot of driving, there's a lot to please, right? Nowadays you have to get an internship. You know that never used to be a thing. You graduate college and you go to work, you get a job. Now you have to get a free, paid, unpaid internship. You're a slave for 6 months for some pop star, and he's like, hey, get me coffee, clean my Rolls Royce, and then after 6 months he's like, I don't want you. That's literally how things are. You are literally a legal slave in America.
You can put on your resume.
This should be on the news. This should be... Anyway, we're going to call it a night. I think we should call it a night. No? It's getting late.
It's good. Keep going.
You ready? You enjoying it?
I'll get you coffee, Rabbi. I'll get you coffee. Let us put it on our resume. It's good. Good talk, Rabbi.
Okay, anyone who wants to stay can stay, and we'll continue the conversation. If you do want to go, you can go. I love you guys. Okay, maybe we'll continue the conversation in the other room. Anyone who wants, continue the conversation in the other room. Guys, you were awesome. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you like what you hear and are between the ages of 21 and 30, you are a beginner to Judaism living in Los Angeles, then this group discussion is for you. Come and join us at Aishlit every week on Taco Tequila Torah Tuesdays or Wednesday night for Wednesday Wine and Wisdom once a month. This is besides for our exciting social events and Shabbats. Stay tuned for more upcoming podcasts. Check us out on Facebook, Aishlit Los Angeles, or go to our website at aishlit.com.